Here we go. One woman, 3 men who packed enough Viagra for Tahiti that it could kill a horse. Let's do it! We have Joan here at the Los Angeles airport getting ready for a 20-hour flight to Tahiti, dressed as if she's going to a barbecue on a Saturday. That is not how anyone normal dresses for a long flight. This is... No, you would be in your PJs holding a pillow that smells like home with a sweatshirt on that hasn't been washed in 18 years. This is not how anyone flies who's a normal person. I think those are heels. So we're here in Tahiti. Cue your friend with the rich parents who paid for their honeymoon being like, you gotta go to Tahiti. You haven't been? Oh, you gotta go. It's like, no, I'm single and alone, and they don't really talk about how much things cost when you just pay for one as opposed as a couple when everything's split in half. But sure, maybe I'll get to Tahiti one day on a honeymoon with someone who doesn't exist. Joan introduces the 3 men that are left. Here's Pascal rolling a rolling suitcase as if he's never done that on his own. He's like, usually the butler does this. Here's Guy, who looks like he just took the most life-changing dump ever. He's like, oh my God. And here's Chalk, who looks like he's looking for his kids who got too drunk last night on vacation, and he's going to go yell at them for the bill they racked up. So Joan's all sad that she doesn't have her friends or family to help her out. And then they're like, here's Nancy from season 1 of the Golden Bachelor. Remember you met for 15 minutes before you left the show? She's going to help you with the biggest decision of your life. I've always been a Nancy fan. She kind of fits in that Diane Lane phylum of woman looks. Like, if I were to ever go not Jewish, it would be in that phylum. Like, I'd call Nancy my Goisha type. You can see even Nancy's getting a little bored with Joan. Joan, not exactly the most dynamic person. Look, she's like falling asleep during this explanation of the men. She's like, oh, I'm going to have to push back that spa treatment I had planned. She hasn't even gotten to the part where she sees a hawk and thinks it's her late husband. Oh, we start with Guy's date. And Guy must be a great doctor because no one has taken buttoning his shirt more seriously than Guy. Look at the concentration. He's like 1 button, 2 button, and then he stares at the work he's done. I want Guy doing my stitches. This guy, he cares. Guy finishes off the look with a spritz of cologne, and I don't even have to smell it to know what it smells like. That is tree-like, offensive, too strong cologne. It makes you cough when you see him. You know he's coming even before you turn your back. That cologne is dad-like. Okay, Guy either had major back surgery or he always has to take a dump because that's not how people walk. He never seems to move his torso. Look at this walk he does. I mean, he looks like he's being careful. Like 1 false step will make a duty run down his leg. That is a careful walk. It's got to be he had back surgery, right? Guy and Joan look good together, but have very little sexual chemistry. They look like a couple that would be on a commercial for a timeshare. Like, look at the way he's even drinking. Like, that's not the way people drink from a glass. That's him acting like someone who drinks champagne at their beautiful timeshare that you can get for a fair price. They're not exactly hitting it off. Look at this right here. She says, you can kiss me if you want, and then they close-mouth smooch. It feels like Joan's on a date with a guy her friend fixed her up with, and she, like, can't disappoint that friend. You can kiss me if you want. I don't know about you, but if I'm in Tahiti and I'm with someone I'm dating, I hope I don't have to give them verbal consent to kiss me. I hope we're past that point. Joan and Guy's date has been incredibly sad because Guy is more into Joan than Joan is into Guy. But it's really sad because they both have better bodies than me and whoever my hypothetical girlfriend is that doesn't exist right now. Like, they're in their 60s and they look like that. I would not have my shirt off counting 1, 2, 3 to jump in. I would be shirt on, jump in, throw the shirt back into the boat after I was in the water. Then they go swim with sharks. They're feet away from stingrays and sharks. Have they ever heard of Steve Irwin? No one's freaking out. I literally can't touch seaweed with my feet without freaking out. This would be the moment where I become unbangable. She would see me swimming and yelling and going, I can't do it, I can't do it. And she'd be like, no, it's just, they're not sharks who bite. And I'd be like, no, it's the seaweed. I don't like touching the ground. And she'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Joan explains to Guy that she's not going to be physical with any of the men until she's chosen the one. And look at Guy react to this information. He doesn't even say anything. Look at just a little tiny nod. He's like, oh no, who would want to have sex with 3 different people in a week? No, of course. It's not like I packed a duffel bag full of Viagra. No. Who would even think? I didn't even think we'd be hooking up. I just thought we would get to know each other more. No, I didn't pack a whole bag that had to be checked away full of Viagra that I got because I'm a doctor and I can get as much as I want. No. Come on, I'm with you. I totally agree. So Joan presents Guy with a note that is going to invite him to the celibacy suite. And let's see if we can read the note. I can get a close-up. They go back to those huts that are over the water, and this is everyone's fantasy. Look, they shut the door as if, no, there's going to be a lot of sitting and conversing going on in here. Keep the cameras out. Someone might sneeze, which is kind of an orgasm. Don't want to get that on camera. Here's Guy after the celibacy suite. He looks like, he's like, what have I done? He's like, ugh. We talked for 6 hours. By the 5th hour, she just explained season 3 of The Sopranos to me. There's only so much talking a guy can do. We didn't even go in the water off the side of the hut. That was my dream. No, we just talked. At one point, I told her the pills I take every day. We move on to Chalk's date, and Chalk looks like a dad who's really excited about how awesome the buffet at the hotel is. He's like, you're not going to believe it. It comes with the room. They got a pancake maker. Chalk does his signature big, deep breath into her neck while whispering sweet nothings move that he's been known to do. This is what a villain in a movie does to the lead female character while the other guy is trying to find her. He's like, he ain't gonna make love to you the way I can. Chalk and Joan go ATVing. Joan is handling this way better than my mom would. My mom would be yelling at my dad the whole time. She's like, you're going too fast. You're taking every turn as fast as possible. You're going over every rock. I stubbed my toe earlier. Don't do this to me. Chalk stares at Joan like he's either going to eat her or he's going to cut her up and put her in a suitcase and travel with her across the country. Like, he looks, that's the thin line between I'm in love and I am the subject of the next Netflix murder mystery documentary. Can we at least admit this is a very different kiss than the one Guy got? I mean, maybe Chalk is trying to eat her. He goes for it. Hand behind the head. His leg has to be asleep after this long sit. No old man can sit like that for as long as Chalk did. Good for Chalk. He is in quite the shape. I would be like, hey, you go ahead. I gotta stand up and shake out the tingles in my leg for at least 10 minutes before I can walk. Joan presents Chalk with the invitation to the celibacy suite. Even before he's explained that there's going to be no physical intimacy at the suite. Let's take a closer look at the letter. So he says yes to the fantasy suite, or as I'm calling it, the celibacy suite, and now she's telling him the rules.
I don't feel comfortable having a physical relationship with more than one person, ever, never have, but I do want to spend time with you.
She is saying this like a podcaster says all the legalese after a DraftKings or a FanDuel ad. If you have issues gambling, call 1-888-07-HOPE-NY. And if you're looking to get physical in the fantasy suite, I will not and will never be with more than one man. Brought to you by the Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas City, Kentucky. So they go to the celibacy suite, they pop some champagne, and you can see Chalk is like, got a long night ahead of me. Okay. Hopefully I can take my shoes off and stretch out a bit, because this is gonna be a night. Can't wait to find out her grandkid's middle name. That's way more fun than going down on a woman. So the day after the fantasy suite, Chalk is looking like a dad who's going over the credit card bill. He's like, who is spending money at Crumble Bakery on a weekly basis? I don't care if they do cookie drops. So Joan gets ready for her date with Pascal. She checks out her football earrings and her bug necklace. She's like, okay, everything I got with that promo code from Home Shopping Network is ready to go. Before the Pascal date, Pascal meets with Jesse to be like, yeah, I was almost engaged a year ago, and it's tough for me to break down my walls because I'm kind of sort of in love with this woman from a year ago. And it's like, wait a minute, you're telling us this in Tahiti? He also said that Tahiti's on his bucket list, so if I'm Jesse, look at Jesse sits there and he's like, yeah, no, totally. I can totally see why you would wait to tell us until we got to Tahiti that you were engaged a year ago. And yeah, Tahiti is on your bucket list, so get there however you can, I guess, right? So Pascal's date is going to be the learn about Tahiti date that happens on The Bachelor. And you can tell right away, him and I are very much alike. I'd be like, oh no, I got the cultural date. We're not going to ATV or go on a boat and drink champagne. I'm going to have to learn about the people. No! This is like a wish to a genie gone bad. He's like, and my first wish is I want to cross Tahiti off my bucket list. And he's like, here you go. Now, go talk about your feelings with the people of Tahiti. And it's like, no, I wanted to sit on the beach and drink a daiquiri. So Pascal is really excited that they speak French in Tahiti. But listen to this. They're going over a chicken. He's like, a chicken, bok, bok, bok. And then he mentions a rooster. No, what was that? No, that's not a rooster sound. What was that? No, it's cock-a-doodle-doo. What was that? That's not a rooster. This is a French for... No, cook-a-dee-doo. No, it's cock-a-doodle-doo. Pascal. No, cock-a-doodle-doo. Even them, they're like, no. It's cock-a-doodle-doo. The rooster noise doesn't change. The rooster doesn't speak French. Speaks rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. So they're discussing a rooster versus a chicken. And then he makes a cock joke. And she's like, oh, Pascal, wait till you find out what's going on in the fantasy suites. Oh, you are gonna be disappointed. That cock joke is about as much cock as we're gonna be getting on this trip. So now they're having a traditional Tahitian bonding ceremony. I would be so mad about this date. You're in Tahiti. You're so close to the ocean. Your feet's in the water. And you're being forced to stand in your clothing and pour water on one another while you open up about your feelings. I'd be like, get me a vodka soda with a splashy cran now, or I am leaving Tahiti and going home. You can see the moment Pascal's realizing this won't be a fun day.
Living somebody in my life, falling in love. My fear is that I won't be honoring John's memory.
Look at Pascal.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. This does not sound like a good way for us to get ready for the fantasy suite. Usually I kiss a woman's neck, but talking about your late husband, sure, okay. Pour the water. This is brutal for Pascal.
I've experienced it, you've experienced it. And I care about you as a friend. But I'm not in love.
This is where it sucks to date someone where English is their second language. They're a little too direct. Like when someone where English is their second language, they're like, you're overweight, fat. It's like, okay, let's go with chubby. Like I would need someone to break up with me and go, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not in love with you on an intimate level. You know what love is? This is not it. As you say, not in love? Look at Pascal's like, goodbye, Joan. If you see me on the beach tomorrow having a glass of white wine, I am mourning. But I just want to get as much out of Tahiti as I can. Today we did like the museum thing, and I still need a beach day. So good luck with everything. And Pascal leaves Joan in the duty-free section. He's like sprinting out of there. He's like, maybe I can get to the hotel bar in time to meet some women who will have an actual fantasy suite. Pascal wanted out so badly that he got on a submersible to get to the mainland. He's like, I don't care if these things crush under the weight of the water. I gotta get out of here. What is that? Like a Star Wars getaway plane? That looks like R2-D2. He's like, just get me out. I don't care. That's it for the Golden Bachelorette. And that's it for me. I'll be back next week. Share, share, share. Tag a friend in my feed post. Make my feed post your story. I'll be back next week. Boom.